Hello everyone, I hope that you're all fine. We're starting our virtual classes with this video, so this is my first one and I can admit that I'm not totally comfortable with being filmed, but I'll try and I think this is important for you. So we're going to start this class by analyzing the fable by James Ferber, which was published in 1956. The title is The Peacelike Moongoose, and from this title we can deduce that we're going to see an opposition between this moongoose, which seems to be different, which seems to be unique, and the other parts of the community, the other moongooses. So we can already identify some topics like this idea of exclusion and this idea of discrimination, because we've got a member of a society which can't fit in the society and which can't conform to the norms and the codes of the society. So a fable is a story where animals are replacing men. It's a story where you've got a moral at the end and an explicit moral. Usually the goal of a fable is to denounce in an indirect way and to represent the flaws and the vices of men through animals. It usually portrays typical characters who are easily identified by the readers. So in this story, we've got a moongoose, the peacelike moongoose, which is opposed to the other moongooses. And she's accused of being non-violent, she's peacelike. She's charged with being thoughtful, with using her intelligence to cast doubts and to question the traditions and to question everything that has been done before. She's seen as dangerous because she's a visionary, she has new ideas, and people are afraid of these new ideas because they don't understand them. So finally, the other members of the community accuse her of being of disturbing the order of things, and finally of overthrowing the government, of wanting to overthrow the government. So as a consequence, they decide to exclude her, to banish her from the society, because they are afraid of things that they don't understand. They are afraid that another truth is possible away from what they have seen before. And they are afraid that their Manichaean world will collapse. So the message of Ferber here is to denounce intolerance, to denounce discrimination, to denounce prejudices, and to denounce narrow-mindedness. He also wants to expose how rumors replace proof and evidence in this society, and he shows that a community chooses a scapegoat to try to make things clear, to try to understand what is not possible to understand. And on the contrary, so indirectly, he wants to praise the freedom of ideas and how new ideas can make a society evolve. In this fable, so Ferber uses different techniques to pass on this message. Firstly, it's like in a fairy tale, the time, the places and the persons are indefinite, so that we can have a timeless message. So, for example, you've got in Cobra country, okay, which is not specified. You've got the indefinite article a moongoose. You've got the time of one day. That's it. So it's the context is not specified and remains indefinite, which enables Ferber to pass a universal message and to adapt his fable to different time periods. And we'll see at the end how this fable is still relevant today. Then in the story you've got, so the story is based on a dichotomy between two different groups. So the minority and the majority. The minority is represented by the peacelike moongoose, and the majority is represented by all the other members of the community. So you've got the members of the family of the moongoose, the father, the mother, the brother, the sisters, and you've got also all the neighbors. So the story clearly identifies a polarized world and a Manichaean world. Then you can see that Ferber uses a mix of direct speech and indirect speech. You've got lots of cues from the members of the community compared to the cues which are given to the peacelike moongoose. So this gap in terms of quantity make the reader feel the violence of the words, and you really hear the words and how these words are not legitimate and are not based on proof and evidence. And it's also the fact that the other members of the community speak more than the moongoose clearly shows that the peacelike moongoose is presented as the victim, as the oppressed, and the others are presented as the oppressor. So I ask you to write a fable of your own. So I hope you were creative. And so the real fable, the real moral, this is direct line. The real moral is ashes to ashes and clay to clay. If the enemy doesn't get you, your own folks may. So the moral, so in this moral, Ferber uses direct address to the reader and uses irony to express the contrary of what he wants to pass as a message. Indeed, in this moral, he praises selfishness, he praises the survival of the fittest, and he even admits that it's possible to betray your friend if you need to survive in this society. Right. So we said that the fact of using this fable, using the genre of the fable, can enable the author to pass a universal message and to be able to adapt his fable to different time periods and different type of messages. So his fable was written in 1956, so the period of the Cold War. So you can think, and this fable can refer to the witch hunt during this period, and how people were afraid of communism, and it can also refer to the fact that that people denounced anyone without any proof and evidence, but just because they were afraid of the unknown. It can also refer to the Second World War, where the Jews were rejected of the society because they were different religion, different physical appearance, and how the German excluded them from the society in a very violent way. And finally, and more recently, this fable can also refer to this paranoia that people could feel after the terrorist attacks, and how Muslims were used and were seen as threats and were considered as used as scapegoats to be able to restore some peace. Right, so this is the end of the lesson today. So try to reorganize your notes, try to select the ideas that you prepared before the class, and try to combine them, and then learn your lesson. and try to record yourself presenting this fable in 5 minutes. Right, so see you soon, and let's go back to work. Bye bye.